Hello everybody, my name is Liu, and today we are going to talk about Captain Legendary items. This is my tanking sword and my tanking emblem. For titles, I always get the tactical mitigation plus critical defense for my emblem, and I always have the critical defense title for my weapon. Now for legacies, let's start with the sword. Pressing attack and devastating attack critical rating. The reason I have this is because whenever you crit using pressing attack or devastating blow, you will get a enemy defeat response, and you can consume that response by using routing cry to get a faster attack speed, or you can consume the defeat response on rallying cry to give everybody a stronger heal. If you don't consume the defeat response, then the defeat response will give you 5% extra incoming healing. Next one, defensive strike armor buff. This will increase the armor buff you get from Sure Strike. As you can see, my Sure Strike will give me 13k, about 13.5k armor value. In combat, that 13k is going to push my physical mit and also tactical mitigation to heavy armor tier 2 cap. Muster Courage Fear Resist. Your Muster Courage Fear Resist is going to push to 70% when you have this legacy. In fights like Sagrog, in fights like Dogabeth, in fights like Thorog, there are many fear debuffs that can one-shot you. It will kill you immediately. And this legacy will prevent people from even getting that debuff in the first place. And also prevents people from getting silenced. Say Boss 1 of Abyss, the twins. You are able to have this up and people will not get silenced. As you can see, my resistance is about 30%. At T2, it is about 28%. 28% plus your 70, that's 98%. Which means most of the time, your fear debuffs on you will be resisted. Captain AoE healing. Your rallying cry, your inspire are all going to get extra heals, which means extra heal threat. Battle hardened incoming damage. This is the bread and butter of a Cappy tank. When you have this legacy, your battle hardened is going to give you negative 15% to incoming damage, and that is negative 15% to your source damage taken, as you can see right now. So 15% combined with on guard, that's 20%, and then plus another Tome of Defense, that's 30% of all damage mitigated. 30% of all damage removed. Vitality, simply because there are no other good skills to get. If you look at other legacies, damage buff, damage buff, damage buff, damage buff, you don't need damage buff as a tank. You don't deal damage as a tank. So all the damage buffs are completely useless, and you are not a power whore either. You don't use power that much. So the power cost reduction is also useless for a Cappy tank. Battle Hardened Outgoing Heal. You will be in Battle Hardened most of the time, which means your Strength in Numbers, your Rallying Cry, your Words of Courage will all heal for extra healing when you're in tank stance, which is your Battle Hardened. Now let's move on to Emblem. For Emblem, you want to level up the tactical healing. For the sword, You don't have to level this up. It's not as useful. However, the emblem is for tanks. The emblem increases your tactical healing, which means all your heal skills will be better, will be more potent. Shield of Dunedain incoming heal. Shield of Dunedain incoming heal is good for fights where you have incoming heal debuff. For example, Unbroken One in Throne, the Twin Nazgûls in Throne. What else? Workpins even, but Workpin is quite easy. There's really no need for this. But in fights where your incoming heal is negated to all the way to 0, like the Twin Nazgûls, without this legacy, the only way for a healer to heal you is by using the Standard of Valor. Because in that fight, your incoming heal debuff will go all the way to negative 100% incoming heal. Words of Courage healing. More healing on Words of Courage, and more heal aggro. Last Stand heal is the next one. This one is very lackluster. There are some other potential legacies. For example, melee skill healing. It will increase your Inspire heal. You see all these damage, all the damage legacies? You don't need any of the damage legacies when you're tanking. Time of Need buff duration. That one is actually not too bad either. As you can see, Time of Need buff, it gives you attack duration, reduced attack duration. Valiant Strike healing. You don't need Valiant Strike when you are in tank line. Valiant Strike is a blue line captain only skill. So when you're in tanking, as a captain, you cannot have Valiant Strike. So this legacy is completely useless as well. This is another good potential rather than melee skill healing. Words of Courage morale cost. Your Words of Courage actually cost you morale, so this will reduce the amount of morale you use up. Vocal skill healing. This increases the skills of Strength in Number, Words of Courage, and Rallying Cry. Rallying Cry healing, that increases the heal from your Rallying Cry. Heal critical magnitude. Enough said. All of your heals heal more when it crits. Vitality, simply because there are no other good legacies to have. Now let us look at the swappies. I have a one-handed sword that has the Make Haste duration. What I do is I equip this Make Haste weapon and then use it. Now I have a 45-second run speed duration, and then I switch back to my tanking sword. You want to have one-handed sword because you do not want to remove your shield when you're tanking. If you equip a two-handed sword here on the swappy, your shield is also removed. Dunedain. This is unimbued. Shield of Dunedain duration. When you don't need the Shield of Dunedain incoming heal, which is nearly every other case, 90% of the time, what you can do is use your combat analysis. Click, click, click. Now your Shield of Dunedain lasts for 20 seconds. 20-second duration on Shield of Dunedain. Now let's go to relics. For relics, I do tanking relics. For example, finesse is good so that you are able to use Grave Wound. For gem, I use vitality, simply to have more morale. For the sword, I have critical rating and also base combat damage modifier. This is actually not a very good relic. A very good relic for the sword is actually from the Relic Master. You go to Melding and you go to tier 10. Sorry, not tier 10. You go to all the way down to Wisdom Net, level 90. And there's a rune called Wisdom Net Rune of Courage. It will give you increased partial parry and evade mitigation. This is a much better rune for the sword than this one. However, as you can see, I'm very poor in shards and relics, so I'm not able to make this. For the crafted relic, I obtained the physical and tactical mitigation one, simply because more defense. Same thing for the tanking emblem, except for the rune, I use tactical healing. I get tactical healing because I can heal more using my rallying cry, words of courage, and also strength in numbers. The crafted relic should also be a defensive relic. However, I have not gotten the chance to craft one. That concludes the tanking plus swappy part of the Captain Allies. Have a great day!